Everybody, welcome back to another week of the Let's Talk Socialization podcast. I hope you've had an amazing start to your week, but if not, we can kickstart that right here. I'm your host, Ian Kahinde, and y'all know the deal. Got to get through this week's bulletin board. So, November 8th from 4 to 6 p.m., celebrate Pitt and Frederick family pride from the top of the cathedral learning. Frederick Honors College students, along with their visiting families and advocates, are invited to join us for food, refreshments, explore the beautiful view atop the Cathedral of Learning, and meet with Frederick Honors staff and student ambassadors. You must RSVP to attend the event. The link will be in the description below. November 13th from 4 to 6 p.m., for any FHE students listening, go behind the scenes of the University Art Gallery in the Frick Fine Arts Building. Don't miss the chance to see the largest art repository on campus, home to over 3,500 works of art. For this session, we'll pull 3 sculptures from the UAG's permanent collection. Malvina Hoffman's bust of John Keats, Mother and Child by Johnny Inglepuk, and an untitled wood relief by Ecuadorian artist Luis Potosi Suarez. Professor and artist Paolo Piscitelli will lead a hands-on exploration of these works, and UAG Director Sylvia Rohr Seminengo will lead a discussion about the history of these pieces to address issues related to decolonization and museum practices. The link will be in the description where you're watching or listening. Lastly, November 15th from 12 to 1 p.m., join the Office of National Scholarships at our Summer Opportunities General Info session to learn all about summer national scholarship opportunities available to students of all class standings and disciplines. The link will be in the description. Before we get started, as always, if you have a friend or yourself think that you would like to come on this podcast as a guest, like the amazing Laura right here, feel free to fill out the nominations link in the link tree of the episode. Me and my team will get back to you as soon as possible to schedule a logistics meeting. And lastly, I will be retiring from the podcast in April of next year. We are looking to hire on an intern to take on the ropes of the podcast. It is a paid intern position as long as you're either an honors student at the University of Pittsburgh or hoping to become an honors student. You do not need prior experience in podcasting or editing. You will be able to learn everything on the fly. If you are interested in becoming the host of this podcast, the link will be at the bottom of the link tree in the description where you're watching or listening. But anyways, y'all, the reason why we are here is the incredible Laura Stewart, director at Studio Forget Me Not and creative artist. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling fine. Thanks for having me.
So as always, y'all, we will be going through Laura's backstory, what's made her who she is today. We'll be talking about the incredible Studio Forget Me Not, as that is where we are recording today. We'll hit our weekly artist spotlight, and in the second half, we'll talk about art accessibility. But anyways, bygones be bygones. Take me from the beginning, Laura.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's quite a while ago, but I will say that I started out learning art through my mother. My mother's an artist. And so from an early age, she had me sewing and drawing and painting. And she would take me to art classes where we were sitting out in the field drawing a barn or whatever. So that was my early experience as being an artist. And then I went on to school, took art in school all through high school, enjoyed art, and then went on to take graphic design classes at the Art Institute at Pittsburgh at the time. And then later on, decided to go back to school for art education and then to get my certification to teach art in Pennsylvania. And I did do that. I did that for a while. I'm also a practicing artist. and I make my own textiles and I sew. So I bring a lot of those things into where I'm at now. But what led me to this field is I started working in 2010 at Blind and Vision Rehabilitation Services of Pittsburgh. And I was working with adults with intellectual disabilities. And they inspired me to start a small art program there. And then later on, I met our executive director here, and I had a conversation with her while painting a mural in one of their activity centers, where I told her that my dream is to actually start an actual studio with working with artists with various ability levels. And so we started Studio Forget Me Not, and that was 7 years ago in Carnegie.
It's exciting. Now, my question is, from the perspective of disabilities and inclusion, what made you want to begin to get down that path?
I could see where it was a way that people communicated through art, where they might not be able to communicate in other ways, but they could express a lot in painting or drawing or whatever expression it was. Some people liked cutting up fabric and making collages, and other people liked making jewelry. But I could see where there was a lot of expression where there might be limited expression, like say verbally. So,
How do you express yourself through art in ways that you can't express otherwise?
oh, well, I consider myself, although I've grown out of it a lot, but I started out being very shy in high school, very shy through college. So I don't know if the reason why I love color so much is that that was a way to express for me to kind of get out of my shell. But my textiles all tend to be really bright and bold. And then you can see the art in here. It's bright and bold. So a lot of expression coming out of a quiet space.
So, have you always been talented at art?
I don't know if I've always been talented or if I had just a lot of the right circumstances. With my mother being an artist, of course, I was influenced early on. But my brother also had those same influences, and he didn't really go down that path. So it's hard to say, but I really do enjoy and have from a very young age, and felt like more than any other subject, that was my subject.
So, would you say it was more building skill or just something that's been in you from the beginning?
Gosh, I think it's both. Because sometimes I think it's like breathing. Like if I don't do it for too long, I feel all kinds of feelings that aren't good. I might be a little bit sad or a little bit frustrated or maybe have a little anxiety. And then I realize, oh, I haven't done my own work in a week or whatever it is, whatever amount of time.
So, it's like an extension of you.
Yes, for sure.
So, moving forward with Studio Forget Me Not, what does this space seek to accomplish?
That same thing, and for a population of people, an expression for a population of people that doesn't always get those chances, right? So where I can go to, a traditional gallery and say, "Hey, here's my work. Do you want it or not?" And sometimes they say yes, and sometimes they say no. But a lot of times, the artists that attend here might not have those same opportunities. So we're trying to break through some of those barriers with showing what can be done and make that happen.
So, when it comes to the artists that you showcase here, is it more local talent or greater America?
Well, that's a good question. Mostly it's local because the people that come attend classes and then they do the work and then we show the work. However, we have partnered with other groups of people to do specific shows that kind of reach out in different ways. Like last last Christmas, we partnered with a couple groups of immigrants who did textiles and worked with one of our teachers that way. And then they were able to come in here and partner with us to do a show. So we try to keep a community outreach in a lot of ways as well.
What role does teaching play in your life?
Teaching teaches me. You know, it's interesting because I'm curious about a lot, but then it also is like you think you're teaching somebody something and then they end up teaching you something. Yeah.
So then through this, the student teaching the teacher,
Yeah.
name something that you've learned from the people that you teach and you work with.
Oh gosh. Well, you learn to expect the unexpected. And sometimes because I get used to my own processes, my own way of drawing or my own way of painting. And then I see somebody making marks on a tablet and it might not be my way, right? But it's their way. And then the end result is incredibly creative, unlike anything, you could imagine. So that's the part that really teaches me and inspires me. It's what comes at the end of all of that.
So then how do you take some, let's say, techniques or ways that you create art and translate that into other aspects of your life?
Gosh. Well, I'm not sure how to answer that exactly, but I can say that because I like to sew, I went to a musical last night down at the Benedum, and I had the opportunity, which was really lucky for me. It's not like I get these opportunities all the time, but I had the opportunity to go behind stage and see unbelievable costumes close up. And it makes me think of my own work and tie it back in. And it makes me look at that work and see the gifts and the talents and the creation all coming together and how it can come together in so many ways. So that's just one example. There's a lot of examples. My home, you kind of take art into your home, not just physical art, but how you place things and how you turn the furniture around and how you want to make it look inviting or how you want to make it. It's all art.
The feng shui here is great.
Feng shui. Thank you. Thanks. So, yeah.
I feel you on that. Personally, I wouldn't consider myself an artist, but the top things I do love, I love music, I love basketball, and there are a lot of principles that I take from those and I sprinkle throughout like other parts of my life. Like for me, music is the best medium for me. I grew up playing a dozen instruments. I composed music. I listen to music probably about 13, 14 hours a day. Like I'm starting my music critical career shortly. I take the emotions that I feel through music and it helps regulate how I act in other aspects of life. I can be getting flustered and a song can bring me back, or I could be feeling, symptoms of depression or sadness and a song can help bring me back. And then like for basketball for me, just like, principles of hard work and dedication help they creep into my work where it's like I can be down 15 in a game and I know I have to keep going on, and I can walk into a classroom or a lecture or an exam or my office for work and see a daunting task ahead of me. And I just take that same fire from basketball and I move it into other aspects of my life. So I like how for you as an artist, just the way that you see the world a different way, with how you sort of weave creativity into everything that you see. I wish that I personally could have something like that. But we're all talented in different
Sounds like
ways.
you do. Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like you do. Definitely. Exactly. We're all talented in different ways. My partner, John, is a musician, and it's in him. It's all the time.
Mm.
Yeah. So, and it's interesting. I wasn't going to, but not make this about him, but he sees color when he plays music.
Mm.
He sees different colors with certain notes and things like that.
I've heard of that. I've thought it's so interesting. I just can't do it.
Yeah, it's neat. Well, and artist Wassily Kandinsky, I think it's called synesthesia, had that, where it was like you see color with certain music, and then you paint it, or what colors does certain music make you think of? So maybe it's a sad song. What color? We've done that before in here, where we play a sad song, and what color does this make you think of? Or we play something that's really soft and light, and what color does this make you think of? And so to feel what those things are.
So I know that this is a studio for art expression, but are there other mediums other than physical drawing or, creating that you pair with the art? You were talking about like playing a sad song and going off that. Are there other things like in that realm?
Well, gardening, I feel like, is like an art. Just watching certain plants grow. And so I have a garden that I plant. Even though I live in the city, I have a little garden patch behind my house, and watching those plants grow and be nurtured, and how they change, the colors of them change in different light, how they unfold as they're starting to evolve. All of that, to me, gardening is definitely feels like art to me, and puts me in that place. Yeah, there's nothing like digging in the dirt. So, yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So, last couple questions before we hit this week's artist spotlight. Throughout your entire career, what is the greatest life advice that you could pass on to the people watching and listening?
Well, I have to bring it back to art, obviously, because I'm an artist and also a teacher. But I think that one of the biggest pieces of advice that I've learned and that we've taught here is that it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be you. It has to be the energy. It just has to be done. Just do it. Take your chance with it. And don't put it out there as perfection. So many times I hear, oh, I can't draw. I can't even draw a straight line. Well, there's nothing about art that's about a straight line, So that's it.
I'm definitely one of those people who feels like I can't draw. I can't draw for anything. So maybe
come to our classes.
Maybe I will. Maybe I do need to, broaden my horizons.
Definitely,
in that way.
You should come.
But anyways, this is a good point to transition into this week's artist spotlight. We'll be playing the song "Other End" by Mila Moon. I hope y'all enjoy.
Take me to the tree.
Hope y'all enjoyed this week's Artist Spotlight, Other End by Mila Moon. You'll be able to find the artist page in the description, whether you're watching or listening. Now, getting into this week's topic, we are starting November with a new theme of creative innovation. Social innovation takes many forms, and there is a very wide variety of ways that you can impact your community and cultivate social innovation and lead to social change. We will be speaking about art accessibility and how that fits into the world of social innovation. So I leave the floor open to you, Laura.
Okay, thank you, Ian. I appreciate that, and I guess the main thing I want to say is, first of all, visit us in Carnegie. We're Studio Forget Me Not. We're right on Main Street. But what we are is an art studio specifically for artists with intellectual disabilities. That's mainly because we're owned by Not Forgotten Home and Community Services. So that is kind of our foundation organization, and they offer housing and HAB and a brand new innovative actually day program that they're having a ribbon cutting for tomorrow called Reach. So that's our founding organization, and Studio Forget Me Not is a branch off of that tree. Our executive director, she is so progressive minded, and from the start has always been supportive of each employee and what their gifts are. And so right out the gate, she was that for me. And she's like that with a number of our other employees as well. And I think that's really important, to have a director that isn't, concerned about you having gifts, but wants to put you out there. And then also, we all rise by lifting others. And so knows that and sees that. So that's how this studio was created. And that's how all aspects of Not Forgotten Home and Community Service really has evolved. And so Studio Forget Me Not is a big part of that, and mainly because we have been in existence for almost 7 years now. We started small, and we started where there was just one teacher. It was me, and it was like one day a week I taught. And then that turned into more days of the week, and then hiring other teachers. But what we bring to this is, again, we learn from the folks who attend, the artists that come. And we have a wonderful group. I mean, this is the thing with inclusion. We have so many people that would never have been brought together except their love of art brings them together. And also people that can, identify and relate to each other and form bonds and form friendships and go when they leave here to the movies together, or go out to lunch together, or celebrate each other's wins in life or each other's birthdays or whatever it is. Those are the kind of things that are building within the walls of this studio. So they're not just coming here to create and make art. They're also coming here to express with others the joys of life and the joys of living. And so we've seen a lot of these things happen, and it's sweet and it's wonderful and it's tearful sometimes, but it is incredible. So, and other than that, I mean, we're growing every day. We want to bring more people in. We want more people to know about us. We like partnerships. So anyone who is out there, there's a couple of other studios doing similar work to us, and we've partnered with a lot of them. But anyone out there who's in a field that's, whether it's disabilities or some other nonprofit that we could work together and do a partnership, we're always open to that. We love what we do here. So Um, Other than that, I mean, my next thing is usually to walk around and show. I know we're kind of set up here, but we have a number of art pieces that I like to, point out to people in here, and I'm sitting amidst them. Um, the other thing that we do, and this I feel like is a nice development, is to really hone in on what that person, that participant, that artist is interested in and get them to bring that to their art. Because it's not just about, oh, we make a project, we're making this today. We have things like that and we introduce things like that. But if somebody comes in and they're like, Laura, I'm not feeling this today. I want to do this. By all means, do it. We have the supplies. They have the support, whatever support, to do that. So we want that free expression to always be a part of this. And so we in turn get a lot of unique pieces that evolve out of that and unique art styles that come out of that. That's what we like. That's what we want to support.
So, if you could create a one sentence hook for Studio Forget Me Not, and I know this is a complex space. It accomplishes a complex task. So, to bottle that into one sentence I know it's a lot, but if you could say one thing to hook people into coming to Studio Forget Me Not, what would it be?
Come and enjoy classes with us and just meeting us. And what you'll experience is inclusion and opportunity, and you'll also find things in yourself that you probably never knew.
There you go, y'all. You know what you got to do. Now, to come to the topic of social innovation, to relate that to art accessibility, social innovation has a three-pronged approach. It begins with social inclusion, which leads to social innovation, which then fosters social change. Social inclusion is allowing people to have a seat at the table. Social innovation is when everybody has a seat at the table and we discuss ideas which can lead to social change. What role does Studio Forget Me Not play in social innovation?
I feel like the role that Studio Forget Me Not plays in social innovation is that we are open to the public and the public can come in, and we get a lot of questions like, oh, is this a paint and sip or is this a, whatever. And we're like, no, this is what we are. And this is what we do. And these are our students and come and see. I feel like bringing the public in to see what this actually is and that it might not be what they think it is at face value. And then usually the response is like they want to come back and understand more or volunteer or whatever it is. So I feel like that aspect of bringing the public in and educating the public, because then they understand that everyone is able in ways, all different ways, but yeah.
I feel like from a societal standpoint, and you can see this through legislature and laws and just societal trends as a whole, many people look at the disabled or people with disabilities as lesser. And I think that a space like this, where people with disabilities can have their art showcased, it can show someone who is more closed-minded that everybody has innate skill and talent. We're just all talented in different ways. I couldn't make any of this, and other people, they line these walls in ways that I never could. So I hope that people who are open to having their opinions change can come here and come experience this personally for themselves.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah.
So before we close off, is there anything else you'd like to get across to our audience?
Anything else? I think just to come. I really think, if you can come, if you can't, um, check out our website. We have studioforgetmenot.org. Um, and, feel feel the love. I mean, literally, you will. I encourage it. I If I ever have a bad mood, if I'm ever in a bad mood and I come in here, as soon as I meet my students that day, as soon as they start coming in, it changes everything. Always does. So, if you want a good mood, come here.
That's sweet. So all things Studio Forget Me Not will be in the description of this episode, whether you're watching or listening. Now, this has been another incredible week of the Let's Talk Social Innovation podcast. Thank you so much, Laura, for coming on, representing Studio Forget Me Not.
Thanks, Ian. I appreciate being here.
Now, for everybody watching and listening, I hope you have an amazing rest of your week, and we will catch you next Monday. Peace out, everybody.